Hello guys, welcome to Cake Baby by Mr. B. Today we are going to talk about chiffon cakes. I know it's a story that so many people are always complaining about. My cakes have been shrunking, my cakes have gone down, and also my cakes have got a hole on the center, and my cakes have got a doom, or my cakes are not fluffy. So today we'll talk about chiffon cakes, chiffon sponge cakes. Yeah. So the trick when it comes to chiffon cakes, they've got their own special tins, but the problem this side we can't find the tins. We can find the tins, but with our ovens, our ovens have got too much heat, so sometimes they burn the cakes. So we use the ones that we get from Bare and all these other cake tin makers. So what we normally do is we grease the sides and the bottom of the tins, but that's a wrong way when it comes to chiffon cakes. For chiffon cakes, you just line and grease the bottom part of your tins, then you set them aside. You take your flour, your baking powder. If you are putting your corn flour, it's 1 tablespoon per cup of flour. Then you sift 6 times. Then you set aside. Then you go to your eggs. If they are coming from the oven, make sure your eggs are at room temperature, and everything that you are going to use to bake should be at room temperature. So when you do that, then you are good to go. So baking normally is a science. So if you do something that is not going well with the baking, it will always give you a flop. So when it comes to baking, know that you have to follow the science. But when you are doing your cooking, when it comes to cooking, you can go by taste, but when it comes to baking, you go by the rules. So your flour has to be cake flour or self-raising, a good brand of self-raising. If you are using self-raising, don't add any raising agent unless the brand that you are using is not good. But the rule of thumb, when the brand is not good, just put half of the raising agent that is on the recipe, right? So if you are using cake flour, you know what you are putting. You are not baking blindly. So after measuring everything to the T, if the flour is looking like it's too little, don't add. That flour is going to work with the raising agent that will be there. So you sift 6 times, and also you lift your sieve maybe 15 to 30 centimeters away from the bowl that you'll be using. Then you sift 6 times, then you put on the side. Then you separate your eggs into 2 bowls, one with egg white, the other one with egg yellow. Make sure the egg yellow doesn't get into the egg white bowl. After that, then you add 2 teaspoons of vinegar to add acidity and also to help with the chemical reaction. But if you don't have your vinegar, you can use cream of tartar. You put half a teaspoon. If you don't have cream of tartar, you put baking powder. You put half a teaspoon. If you don't have baking powder to put in there, you can put 2 teaspoons of your lemon juice. Then you set aside. After that, you go to your egg yellow bowl. Then you add your milk. If you are using water, you add your water. Everything should be at room temperature. Then you add your sugar. Normally on chiffon cakes, they split the sugar into 2. So if it's 1.5 cups, the 3/4 will go into the egg yellow bowl. The other 3/4 will go into the egg white bowl. So after mixing your egg yellow with your sugar, your milk, your oil, and your essence, after doing that, make sure the sugar is dissolved. Then you go to the egg white bowl and you beat until the egg whites are glossy and they are starting to firm up. Then you gradually start to add your sugar and beat until the sugar is dissolved and the egg whites are starting to show soft bits. After doing that, then you go to your egg yellow bowl, you add your flour and mix using one direction in 3 batches. When you are done, then you start to fold in your flour. You first fold 1/3 of the egg whites into your egg yellow mixture bowl. Then you mix until you are done. After folding in everything, and there's a little bit of white streaks, just continue folding in and using the same direction that you have been using when you were adding your flour. Then when you are done, you pour into your tins from the side of the tins to avoid the crown on your cake, and also to avoid cracks on your cake, because cakes, they bake from the side of the tins going to the center. So if you pour your butter from the center, that's when you have cracks on the center or you have a crown. So when taking them to the oven, you tap them 3 times on the table counter, then you put them into the oven. Make sure your cake tins are not touching the oven or touching each other. They should be away from each other, so that the heat will be circulating around the tin. And also make sure that your oven door closes properly. If it's not closing properly, look for something to press it in. Then you bake at 160 for 35 to 45 minutes, depending on your oven heat. But also you need to invest in an oven thermometer so that you know the right temperatures that you are working with. So after doing that, make sure you bake for 45 minutes to 35 minutes. Then you open your oven, then you poke on the center with a oven skewer or a cake tester. Then you check if there are any cake crumbs that are coming onto your skewer. It means your cake is not yet done. So you give it another 5 minutes. When it's done, you remove it from the oven, then you put it on a cooling rack or you put it on a cake counter. But make sure table counter, sorry. Make sure that your cakes are not close to each other, because when they come from the oven, they'll continue to bake. Then after 15 to 20 minutes, you remove your cakes from the tins, then you put your cooling rack. But if you want to ice them the next day, then leave them in the tins to cool, then you cover with the dish towel on top so that the moisture doesn't come out of the cakes. And also make sure when you are baking, you use bake only. We use bake only when it comes to baking cakes. We don't bake and glue. And also don't make your cakes to brown, because you'll be removing the moisture from them. When they are done, just poke on the center with your skewer, and if it comes out clean, it means they are done, regardless of them being brown or with a dark color. Just remove them from the oven and cool them nicely. After doing that, if you are having challenges that your cakes are shrinking, you just tap them on the counter after removing them from the oven, and this will help you to have a good cake. Thank you so much for watching our video. Please subscribe to our channel. Thank you.